It's finally time. Fate Strange Fake is out, and now we can talk about Francesca Prelati, the girl who was able to summon herself as a servant, the version of her that was recorded into the Throne of Heroes when they were male. She's very unique in the sense that she's able to body hop after dying, having lived multiple lives and many different bodies, so dying is no problem for her. On top of that, she has this mouse-like appendage on her body, which might be due to her special birth, considering he/she is in fact not human. If you're interested more in that, I'll get into it later. Now, she is the mastermind of a fake Holy Grail War, or at least one of them. And while she seems like a gremlin for chaos, someone who hands out Grail mud to their masters just because she wants to see how it would turn out, and also doesn't want to touch the stuff, so just pawns it off somebody else, and the servant that gets affected by said mud is kind of related to her. She also selected Sigma to be a master because he is someone who, while not having long to live anyway, is very neutral. He wants for nothing truly, and thus the Grail generally deciding to pick people who have some sort of desire puts him in an interesting position where she wants to see what will happen if the Grail has to deal with someone like him and is put in a neutral state of summoning a servant. And as we see, he does in fact get a unique type of servant in the Watcher. And one of her main goals in general just being to drop miracles, aka true magic, down to the level of magecraft, which is the imitation of said miracles that have been lost to the world. But what is her true goal? What does she truly want? Well, that is to use something on the level of the Holy Grail, hence why this war is here, to be able to open up the Great Labyrinth, which is a deep cut for those who don't know their Type Moon lore outside of Fate. This labyrinth was created by a character that we actually see in the very first episode, or episode 0 of Fate Strange Fake, which was that phone that the man in the chair, Zelrich, was talking to. The character I'm mentioning is the one who is speaking through said phone, and that's because they are trapped in a labyrinth, the Great Labyrinth, in which they created. This character was a member of the Holy Church, but was turned into a vampire and thus left the church, and their name is Calbac Alcatraz. Now, what's in this labyrinth that Francesca wants is a certain character, or she refers to it more as a thing. This character that we are talking about is from another Type Moon work that is not Fate, who goes by Hibiki, but that's only one of their personalities, because at their core, they are what is called Triton, which was an attempt to make God essentially, which was a big mistake. I have a whole video going into that if you are interested. Now, what really made her interesting to me was the fact that she is a character that died many times, and the fact that many of those people are noticeable characters throughout the Type Moon universe, not just from Fate. Now, the anime did cut out a few of the noticeable ones. The ones that they get mentioned though are Zelrich, who appeared in the beginning of Fate Strange Fake, Saint Germain, who I've done a video on and I will refrain from talking about for obvious reasons, Scarred Red, aka Toga Ozaki, who hates that name because she wanted her family's magic, which was the 5th true magic blue, but Alko ended up getting it due to circumstances, so she herself could never have the title blue that she wanted. Also, she was supposed to be the successor to the family magecraft, which could no longer be because Alko got the true magic. Francesca also had a habit of continuing to annoy and call Toko Scar Red, and eventually all this had to be stopped when the Ozaki family and Alko stepped in to stop Toko from continuing this madness, but Toko decided to get one more killing on Francesca and threatened Francesca never to show her face or twisted magic circuits to Toko ever again. Now, some of the ones that weren't mentioned were Van Femme, who is a human through magecraft turned dead apostle and is related to the character Jester, who, if you don't remember, is the master of Fake Assassin, the one that throws around Sabaneas willy-nilly. There are also her masters that killed her, and her masters were taught by none other than the mage Merlin himself. If you know your Fate lore, you know Merlin, or at least you should, especially if you're a Artoria fan. There was also the witch from the Meister line, which is Alice's family, Alice from Mahoutsukai no Yoru. And lastly, a character from Kano Kyokai, who I haven't talked about, but his power is very specific, utilizing words. She is also friends with the caster you'll probably remember from Fate Zero, Gilles de Rais. He was none other than caster's patron, and is the reason why caster has the book of Prelati that allows them to summon eldritch creatures and all that stuff. Now, the reason why Francesca is not human, why she's special in a sense, is because she is the child of a Greek goddess of folly, disillusion, and mischief called Ate, who at one point was banished from Mount Olympus, and sometime later, Francesca would be born as a unit of folly, being neither human nor nature spirit. As far as we know, only clearly being classified as a master, mage, and technically a heroic spirit. Now, even after talking about all of this, it might surprise you to know that Francesca at one point was not interested in the Holy Grail War at all, but ended up watching through some familiars the events of the Fourth Holy Grail War that led her to travel to Fuyuki after the war and gathered fragments of the Grail as well as some of the Grail mud here in this fake Holy Grail War. Now, if you don't know, the Fourth Holy Grail War is that of Fate Zero, but let me make it clear, Strange Fate's version might not be the exact same, because for most Fate series and Type Moon stuff in general, all this stuff is basically on a branch. Every route, every different version of a story is essentially its own thing. So when a story references or confirms that a certain event has happened, it's probably most likely that story's version of those events. But regardless, there are core factors that do stay the same. Meaning, yes, you are fine watching Fate Zero, and it will make sense. Now, if you're interested in learning more about some of the characters and things I talked about here that I didn't want to go too deep into any form of spoiler or detail into, you can check the channel or click one of the two videos on the screen that'll lead you to one of those.